Oh, hi everybody. I imagine you've probably been wondering where I've been, and well, part of the reason why it's been a while since I posted a video is I've had to add a new thing to my routine before I do them. Some of you are really upset by the number of wrinkles in my shirts, so I want to make sure that nobody is offended by that again. So I'm making sure that all of my t-shirts are ironed before I make a video. And really, seriously, who does that? But anyway, let's get on with the video. Yeah, it has been way too long since I've done a video, and I apologize. Hopefully that'll all make sense by the time I'm done with this video, and hopefully my t-shirt is not too wrinkly for you. It is wrinkly, you probably just can't see it because of the lighting. But anyway, I don't really care about any of that. Let's dive into talking about Miatas, and I'm going to start with the 35th anniversary model. Now, you probably noticed that a lot of the information I posted in previous videos is wrong, and that's because the information that I got was wrong. To start off with, if you haven't ordered a 35th yet and you want one, it's probably too late because they started the orders like a month ago, and I am sure they are all gone because they are only making 300 of these for the US market. Now, your market may be different. I don't have time to research every market in the world, so you'll probably have to check your local Mazda website to see what is available in your country. But anyway, we're just talking about the United States. The other thing also is originally we showed pictures of a RF 35th anniversary car, but there is no such thing in the United States. It's soft top only. That RF is never going to be here. One of the things I think is cool about the 35th anniversary is it seems to be kind of an homage to the 95M edition. Now, if you look at them, they're similar colors, similar trim, similar options. So it kind of seems like they're trying to do a new modern version of that. So you know, the more I look at it, the more I think I like it, especially now I know that they have the limited slip, the Bilsteins, all the goodies that make one of the manual transmission cars fun. And it is a limited production, so hopefully that's going to make it retain its value a little better. I know it did with the 30th, but some of that was COVID pricing that made that price actually go up a little bit before it went down. But it does look like a nice version. I wish it had come with like Recaro seats or something like that. But I can see why they did it the way they did, just because the tan interior with that color looks a lot better. I still haven't seen one in person. I'm kind of waiting to see if one pops up around here. I'm sure one of our local clubs there's going to be at least one of them, but I'll have to wait till I see one in person. I do think that color is growing on me. I do like it. I still think they're eventually going to roll that color out to the rest of the line because, you know, it's not bespoke like they said. We already talked about how it is on the CX-90 or whatever, one of the SUVs. I don't really pay that much attention to them. But the MSRP on the 35th anniversary is $36,250. So it's about in line with the regular GT soft top. So anyway, if you ordered a 35th, good luck, and I hope you enjoy it when you get it, and I'm looking forward to seeing them. So up next, I'm going to talk a little bit about the next generation Miata, which should be just around the corner. They originally said it was probably going to be 2026, but I'm kind of getting the feeling that the ND is going to hang on a little bit longer until they kind of figure some things out, because the environment around electric cars has been changing quite a bit. People are having trouble selling them, and I don't see Mazda going all in on an electric car for the Miata. Now, they have that iconic SP thing, and that's supposed to be an electric car, I think, but I think that's just a concept car right now. You might see some of that design language in the Miata, but I am not convinced that that's a Miata. And I know I see all these sites out there that keep posting it over and over saying, oh my God, here's the next Miata. No, that's not it. If you look back to 2015 when they unveiled the ND, up to that day, they hadn't said anything about it. They hadn't released any pictures. They hadn't given any specs. They haven't done anything like that. They were super tight-lipped about it. And then all of a sudden, one day, it was just like, boom, here's the new Miata. And I think that's going to be the way that the 2026 or 27 or whatever it's going to be, I think that's the way that that's going to go too. Now I have a list of things that I want to see in the next Miata, and I'm sure some of them you can think of off the top of your head, like my number one thing, color. Let's have some more color. For example, if you look at the CX-5 right now, there's a really cool green color that they started making on the recent model, and I love it. It looks great. This would look fantastic on a Miata. And we also know that Mazda has given Soul Red Crystal to Toyota in exchange for their hybrid technology from the RAV4. How about we get some of Toyota's colors? I mean, for example, I went on a drive this weekend. One of my friends brought a GR Corolla with him, and I got to drive it. Super fun. But the color of this car would look fantastic on a Miata. This bright blue, this is a really fun color, and that's what these cars need. The colors that we've had have just been really bland and boring and dark, and you know, you get a lot of gray and white and black, and you know, this is the only car I've ever seen where they had 3 shades of white in the same model year. Just ridiculous. I mean, if you can make 300 35th anniversaries in a color, why couldn't you make another special edition in yellow or green or some other fun color? I don't know. I mean, that's a big thing for me. And number 2, it's got to have a manual transmission, because if you look at how they're selling now, even the 2024 sold like 70% of them with manual transmissions. The automatics just don't sell all that well. And if you look at the resale value on them too, they don't hold their value as well as the manuals do, because that's what people want. I mean, that's what makes the car fun. And I know there's going to be somebody out there and say, oh, well, you can't shift as fast as the automatic. They always say that, but it's just not as fun if you're sitting there with these flappy paddles shifting gears instead of rowing gears. It's just not the same. I don't care what you say. I have driven both of them, and it is not the same. Sorry, I want my manual transmission. Number 3, if you're going to electrify it, how about just making it a mild hybrid? Make it some kind of electric assist so that the rest of the time you're still using an internal combustion engine. I mean, that qualifies under the laws of having to electrify cars. And who even knows if the electrification thing is even going to go through? I mean, the environment around that has changed so much in this country, and I don't want to talk about politics. And if you start posting about politics in the comments here, I am going to delete your comments. So just don't. Seriously, don't. We don't need to talk about that on this channel. And I'm sure this will generate a lot of controversy, but one of the things that I would love to see in the next Miata is I would love to see them bring back the power retractable hardtop, like the NC, a full convertible with a retractable top that stows away somewhere in the car so it doesn't get rid of the trunk space. Because honestly, you can see by my collection of Miatas that I love the power retractable hardtop. I think it is the best. And you can call it a boat all you want, but that's because that stands for best of all time. And the RF is nice, and I know a lot of people really like it and think it looks really sleek, but I've never been a fan of that buttress thing back there while I'm driving. It's, you know, just another blind spot. And I love having that top down and being able to see all the way around me, and it's a better open feeling. I like that better, and if they could bring that back, I would certainly be on board for that. In the comments, let me know what things you want to see in the next Miata. I'd love to hear what you guys think would make this a better car and help move the Miata forward. So go ahead and post up down there, and maybe we'll talk about them in a future video. So now I want to address the elephant in the room, and I want to address where the hell have I been for the last few months. I mean, it's been since December 13th since I posted a video. That video is actually my most successful video of all time. At the time of this filming, it's done 46,666 views, which blows everything else I've done completely away. And I thank all of you who watched it and subscribed and shared it. That helps me out a lot. So if you go back to the first video that I did in 2024, Happy New Year, and right before the end of 2023 we just squeaked by 1,500 subscribers and I achieved full monetization, which that was a big milestone for me. And so this is the first year that I have done the entire year with full monetization. Now this year We passed 4,000 subscribers, probably mid-December, and we're at like 4,127 as of the time. In the total of last year, I made $634 out of monetization. Now, to put that in context, I spent over $10,000 on my NC to do the repainting, the PPF, the mods that I did to it that year. Just the repairs alone on the NC cost $7,000. It looks great now. I mean, it's fantastic. Really pretty car. I mean, it's definitely not perfect. You get up and look at it, you'll find all kinds of flaws in it, but it looks pretty good, and I'm really happy with how it is. And it's probably going to stay how it is for a while because of this thing, because that car has been kind of taking up a lot of my bandwidth lately. And just to give you an idea, at the time of this, I'd spent about $5,600 on that car. That car is owned by the channel. Everything that I do with it is paid for by the channel. And so, as you can see, I'm going in a pretty big hole on it right now. And basically what I'm doing is I'm loaning money to my channel and donating parts to the channel so I can keep my business running. Now, I haven't earned a lot of money this year so far because I haven't posted any videos. And that's because I've been recording video after video after video fixing this thing up. So when I got it from Adam, he'd already done things like the exhaust and the brakes, and we did the timing belt together. I helped him with some of that stuff too, but there was a lot of work still to be done. So once I got it, the first things I did is I replaced the wheels and tires on it. Those tires were crappy and the wheels were super beat up and ugly. So I put some decent wheels on it. They were basically just the low budget wheels. You can get these on Goodwin Racing for about $150 a wheel. So that gives you an idea how cheap they are. But they're nice, they're light, they look good on the car, and I bought some good tires. It's got Continental ECS on it, which are really nice tires. Great for a place like Washington where it rains a lot. I put a clutch in it. We did the flywheel. I did a video on the whole process. It was a bit of a debacle. I'm going to be putting that out there shortly. So once we got it all back together, I started dailying it. And I realized that the suspension was really, really in rough shape. It was really worn. So the first thing we did is we replaced all of the bushings in it with poly. We realized that the ball joints were toast then too. So we replaced the ball joints. We replaced the tie rod ends. And of course, you know, we realized the shocks that were in this thing were so freaking tired. I mean, they're just nasty and dirty and rusty. So those had to go. So I bought a set of Tecna Sport coilovers from Super Miata. I've got them in there, and I really love them. They're nice. The ride quality is really good for how sporty they are. And I also bought the handling package with it, which is the Racing Beat sway bar and the stabilizer blocks and the end links. And I actually put the Racing Beat bar in there. I drove it for a while, and I thought it was a little too aggressive for the street, so I took it out and I put the stock sway bar in there, and I actually love it like that. It handles beautifully, rides great. It's just all around, I really am happy with it. And then I started driving it a little more, and we realized that it had an exhaust leak, and it was pretty bad. I'd be sitting at a stoplight and I'd have to put it on recirculate, close up all the windows, or it'd just gas me out. So I took it back down to Adam's place and we started working on it, and there was a bolt that we had some problems with. So that bolt right up there on the top is the culprit. And let's just say that that bolt was still a little problematic because when we took the exhaust apart to put the new gasket in, that bolt broke, and we realized that it actually had been backed out a little bit from what we did during the transmission video, and we're guessing that it was probably leaking because that nut, no matter how hard you tightened it down, wasn't sealing. And so I had to decide what to do, and that involved taking the exhaust manifold out, and I looked at this empty space and I started thinking. And I'm not going to say what I decided on, but I guess you could probably look at that empty space and decide what I might want to do with that. So basically, I've been shooting videos on the Banana since probably the end of October, mid-November, somewhere in there. And every free weekend that I've had since then, I've been shooting content with the Banana. And also on top of this, my NC had a brake failure. The master cylinder went out, and it was a little tough to get a new one. I ended up having to pay $300 to get a new one because nobody makes an aftermarket one. You have to get it from Mazda still, and they're a little tough to find. But I did find one. It's in. It's fixed. On top of that, I've also done a bosectomy video on the NC, which my NC now has a 500 watt stereo in it. It's got a subwoofer in the trunk. I wired an Alpine power amp into the factory wiring. Sounds great. I love it. And I also did NB content on that also. And I want to make 2 videos out of that where there's an NB and an NC bosectomy. I don't have an NA to work on, so I can't really do one of those. And the ND it's a whole nother animal going down there. And so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a video on that, but if I ever get a chance to, I might. Right now, I'm just going to focus on this. So to throw this in here, my New Year's resolution is that I'm going to drive this car more than I work on it, which means I'm going to spend less time filming it and more time editing the videos that I've made of it. I've really just been so freaking busy that I have not had time to edit videos, and I'm going to have to eventually get an editor, I think. I think that's the only way I'm going to be able to put out videos on a regular basis. But the problem is right now, the channel just doesn't make enough money for me to pay somebody. So I'm going to have to figure out some things, and I'm working on it. And like I said earlier, you know, if you share the videos, watch as many as you can, just, you know, buy some merch, buy stuff from my Amazon store. Basically, any video I'm doing, I'm putting a list of it in, of any tools, any supplies that I'm doing there, I'm putting them in there. So if you want to go buy the same parts that I bought, you can just click on a link. You buy it from Amazon, you're not going to pay anything more than you normally would, and I get a cut out of it. So it helps the channel go forward. There's also a link to my my merch store where, you know, if you want one of these wrinkle-prone t-shirts, you can have one of those. But this one actually is not too bad. I like this one. And also, this has been washed like 10 bazillion times, and it's still soft. It's still solid. The decal on it's still good. So they're decent quality. I'm pretty happy with it. So anyway, that's all I have for this video. More coming up soon. I know I promise you all kinds of videos that I never deliver. Maybe one of these days I'll get them all out. So we'll just have to wait and see. And, you know, maybe if things go well for me, I'll hire an editor this year and you'll start seeing a lot more content. So anyway, that's all I have for this one. We'll see you next time.